Today we're talking about AYODROOP, a Seattle-based artist who's been putting in work for a while now without making a huge scene about it. Singles, EPs, Lucy's, a steady output. And Cinch feels like the moment where all of that starts to click into place. It dropped back in January. We're talking 12 tracks, 29 minutes. Um, Not much wasted space on this thing. No fillers, no random guest spots, no songs hanging around longer than they need to. It follows his 2025, yeah, his 2025 project, Acrasia and Let's Cry Blood. And if you have been keeping up, you already know what he does well. Melody first songs, emotional detail, a style that never feels like it's chasing trends. For a lot of people, the recent On the Radar freestyle, which you should check out on YouTube, is probably your introduction to AO Droop. Um, and so, fair enough. That's cool. It still feels though like this is the a great entry point because you listen to his work and it seems so well done, and he's a producer as well, that like you would think this is somebody who has like the backing of some like majors or something like that, and who's been like a veteran in the game. But like really, no, he's still early in the game. So like you getting on board now, you're on the ground floor. So this is a time to buy on Aeodroop. But if that's where you came in, just seeing him on the radar freestyle. That's a good starting spot because now you get to see with this album dropping right now, you get to see the full picture, right? Which is why I love promoting albums because you get to see the full concept of what he's trying to put on, what he's got going on. Again, he produced most of this thing himself. His full name, by the way, is Ayodeji King T Kankushi, right? And he has been handling pretty much everything on here: writing, composing, production. The sound lands somewhere between R&B warmth and hip hop instincts. It reminds me a little bit of the early internet albums, right? With Sid, the internet, right? But it's a little bit more. That one was a little bit the internet. They're a little bit more close to neo soul ish. This one is neo soul, but a little bit closer to uh, like a little bit more upbeat, so a little bit more pop, a little bit more poppy, intertwined in this thing. The sound lands somewhere between R&B warmth and hip hop instincts and some pop, right? But he keeps enough of the melodic curveballs in there to stop the album from blending and all together into just like one unrecognizable thing. For tracks that you can check out to kind of like wet your palate a little bit. Lights Off is your opener on here. This is probably the biggest entry point for most people. It's sparse, it's moody, instantly, locked in. It sets the tone right away. Let that shit sink in. So this is the lyrics that he starts there, right? I watched all my flaws hit me right up inside my chin. Shit, I mean under, never been under no means. For what it's worth, I took what every person said beneath, made that shit deep with the lights off. I work under pressure with the lights off. I'd rather be inside in my corner, talking right to myself. Only person that listens because I can't really find help. Strum is another dope one that's a little bit later on in the thing, featuring Vesta. This one is guitar heavy. It's loose. One of the better collaborations on the record. It feels like an actual conversation, not just somebody dropping in for a verse. Dodging bullets. This one is fast. It's sharp. Gone before it even wears itself out. One thing I'll say is that the tracks are pretty short on here, but because it's such a cohesive and coherent, it's there's not a bunch of what do you call what do you call those segues, or I forgot the full term, is seamless segues or continuous segue happening, but the thematic vibe of the project is so consistent and so well done. Shout out to him for having an overall concept in his mind and executing it the way he did. That I saw that say it's okay. It feels okay. I usually like my tracks to be at least minimum 3 minutes and venturing into the 4 minutes kind of thing. Let a song evolve. Let a song unfold kind of thing. But he did the work enough to make it coherent enough and to be complete enough where the songs still feel full. Songs still feel full. So dodging bullets is only 2 minutes and 14 seconds. That still it still feels full. It still feels like it did what it had to do for its part in the whole. Right. So shout out to him on that one. Met Me. This is just an interlude, for example, and that one is it comes up right after the title track, the opener, and that's only a minute and a half. Right. It's probably this a sleeper pick because it's just this acoustic, personal moment in the project, more rhythmic than the title suggests. His writing feels especially sharp here. The best thing about the whole project, um, I would say, like he knows when to move on. Nothing drags. Nothing stays a little too long for. It's like okay, this song is just getting repetitive. He's nothing. He's not doing anything special here. So let's wrap it up. No, you don't. You never get to. You never get that because he's in tune with it, right? So every track gets it. Every track that he puts together is it feels curated. And gets in and gets out of each track with great timing. Cinch is Cinch, by the way, is the you have a saddle on a horse and the strap that kind of like cinches it all to the horse. That's what cinch is. And he talks about how you know him pulling this whole project together and holding it together like that and kind of like holding himself together, right, with such an endeavor kind of thing, and then also leaning on people in your life that helps you stay grounded. So I love that metaphor for that. He's got a wild looking the album cover is quite entertaining. It's giving for me. I don't know nobody else sees this, but like I'm seeing chromacopia. I'm seeing inspiration from like Tyler the Creator and the aesthetics here. Completely different character, but it is a character. He's playing a character, and he's in the on the radar performance. He's in this character, Redface, right? He's got music videos where he's in the red face with the white gloves, right? It's not quite. It feels like a there must be some historical character that I can't remember that like dressed like this, but it's not quite minstrel show. Shout out to little brother. I talked about them earlier. But there's something happening here, and I with the red face that he's got going on there, and he even like refers to I think some of the like the ad libs might refer to red face. Just says red face. But he's got the white gloves, and he's doing like it looks kind of cartoonish the way he like portrays this character. And I wish I haven't found anything in his interviews so where he describes this. I should have done maybe some more digging. He describes exactly what his idea is behind this character that he's playing. Um, but the white gloves is giving minstrel show. The white gloves is giving minstrel show. So I don't know. There's something going on, and it's very elaborate in the performance of this character, just the same way like Tyler was with Chromacopia. So I wish I would. I'm gonna end up. I'm gonna look into it later myself. I hope you look into it. If you find out, let me know in the comments. This is your chance to like and subscribe. And have a conversation here. You got any recommendations on other albums I should review, things like that? Let me know. But Cinch is a dope one you should dive into, and let me know if you find out anything about what's going on with the character he's performing here. But it's the project is warm when it needs to be, without being sleepy. It's confident without trying to prove anything. He is leaning into his art, right? And overall, it moves quickly. So it's a quick listen, but it leaves something behind, and you need to have multiple. I think it's one of the ones that you need multiple listens on this thing. A lot of the album sits in that space between who you were, who you are becoming. And, we're talking about relationships, momentum, self doubt, trying to stay grounded while still keeping it moving, right? Keeping your evolution, keep progressing. There's familiar territory here, like I mentioned before. It sounded a little bit like the internet here and there. I'm getting some Tyler the Creator vibes on some of the tracks and even the aesthetics of it. Also, there's familiar territory here, but he and also some of his earlier work. But he approaches this one in a way that it feels new. It feels like new ground. It feels fresh. So shout out to him for that. It works as a, you can put this thing on as a background track if you want to. I think a good listen would be maybe on a Sunday afternoon when you are maybe folding some laundry, getting ready for the week ahead. Maybe you make yourself a hot toddy. You're you it's again, you should listen to it, locked in, but it's also good for the background space where you're just trying to like reset and trying to sit in a gentle vibe to prepare you for what's next to drop. Bottom line, AYODROOP is building something real here in his artistry. This is a great addition to his catalog. Cinch feels like it's his most complete, probably his most complete body of work yet. It's the kind of album that settles in deeper the more time you spend with it. And it's not a long listen, so run it back.